and you can't for one. Fixed accounts. People have fixed accounts in banks. They die abandoned. Party overhaught with that has been abandoned. Once the will be forwarded is called the from your account. So you can't tell we rented to the if the owner is will be auction, claim it with the properties in the who died. The two those properties in the who died. The two those properties. This authority, whatever is there, whatever is there, the services your relatives have to property. Services your relatives have to property. It's close. Children, or they can go. It's close. Children, or they can go and have been friends. And have been friends. Had a lot of in Kitenge is an acclaim. Listen at property. And ensure that provision from the only law and you leave the episode
5 them, but she kept on arguing, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to win this battle anyway. So I decided to ask her to just bring the shots she had. I looked at, selected, and touched several of them, and then I said, okay, now what you're going to do, and now that you don't have, let me now go back and think about my buying decision. I'll get back to you. I think I'll buy some blue ones, I'll buy some pink ones, I'll buy some white ones. Yeah, I think you're right. No one should buy white shirts. And I walked out. Of course, I gave her that excuse because I wanted to get out. Now, the lesson I've learned is that people buy because they feel understood. People don't buy because they understand you. Now, whatever you are selling, remember this, I'll repeat again. People buy because they feel understood. They don't buy because they understand you. And that is one of the biggest mistakes many salespeople, many businesses don't understand. A customer wants to be understood. So the moment this lady, she really tried to lecture me about colors and all that, I was short of saying, do you know how long I've put on shirts? Do you know how long I've been dressing up? Are you the one who was dressing me? I was short of saying that. Of course, I didn't say it. But the idea is that I went to the shop knowing what I want. All she needed to do was to understand me, was to hear me out, was to say, what is the unique experience that this customer wants? What's the unique value this customer wants? And that's why we always say that in marketing and sales, it is always very important that as long as you're selling anything, listen first. Listen to what the person has to say. Let them feel understood. And I think even that's why the best doctors, even people, professionals, doctors, engineers, and all those kinds of people, the first thing they do, they listen to the customer. They listen to the client. And once they listen to the client and the client feels understood, then that's when you're going to give me your opinion. So friends, as we enter the year 2026, always make sure to remember that a customer is going to buy from you only because they feel they have been understood. You can explain and talk and pitch until you become blue in the face. But I can promise you for free, no one will buy from you unless they feel they have been understood. Anyway, there are so many lessons you can learn from me. I wrote this book here, The Master Key to Network Marketing Success, where I share a lot of ways in which I was able to build a very big empire in over 11 African countries. I've written another one called The Perfect Pitch. There's also another one that's coming out. These are very beautiful books. You can comment on this video, and I'll be very happy to give you, to deliver to you, to sign it for you, or even you can get them. For those of us who are in Uganda, you can get them from Aristoc. Those in Kenya and Tanzania, we shall be happy to deliver for you, and all over the whole of Africa. Thank you so much. God bless you. Happy 2026.
There's a book I read whereby it says why A students are working for C students. And it really happens in the Kenyan setup and even Somali community. Ukiangalia around, those who are driving V8 and TX and inaitwa Cayenne.
Yes.
Hakuna mtu alipata A. Hakuna mtu alipata A anapeleka gari mzuri. Mtu anapata A, anaenda university, he ends up working in a firm or organization. Lakini mtu asi ana hustle. And that A guy will work for this C guy. and it's not a theory or
It's practical.
it's practical. All my friends I know, tulikuwa nauliza huyu jamaa huyu maisha yake anataka nini? Jamaa analeta D- D na sasa hii endo politician bro.
Ndio mhesh.
Ai endo nikimwona tu namwambia na mimi nilikuwa chopi. But right now the poorest people are the people who ambayo walipita KCSE. The poorest. Mwingine ameingia cadet.
Yes.
Mwingine amekuwa law, anafanya law firm. Mwingine sijui ako maybe is a doctor. Mwingine anafanya serikali. Mwingine anafanya teaching.
Yes.
But this guy is doing a contract of 500 million. The C guy. Alafu anakuandika wewe umeleta anakupatia mshahara.
Ukuje kama technocrat.
So right now I'm in the tech industry. I mentor a lot of kids.
Yes.
Sometimes parents bring their kids. Anaambia mtoto ameleta B. Anataka kufanya computer science. I know, I tell them asiende computer science. Kuna college moja hapa, I don't want to advertise them. Peleka yeye afanye software engineering. Within 6 months bring back to him. Even after 6 months hata aende university akitaka, because atakuwa na skills. So in this era it's about competency. And sadly I almost became a assistant lecturer when I did my masters.
Assistant lecturer.
I was given some 4 units.
And you said sadly.
Sadly.
Okay.
Sadly, there's a huge disconnect between the academia and the market.
Yes.
Mtoto anamaliza form 4. Akitoka nje ni kama hajaenda shule. Because whatever he was taught in the university has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with what the market, the skills required by the job market. So that's why in the big tech companies like Facebook, Google, even the Tesla guy, these companies, they will never ask you where you're from. Whether you're from MIT or Mount Kenya or a very small college in my village. As long as you have skills. So always say skill up. Mambo degree shughulikia baadaye, because it's just it's only important if you don't have it.
It's only important if
you don't have it. Mpaka unauliza hujafanya degree. Wewe unataka alafu wale wamefanya degree hawana kazi.
Yes.
The job market, bro, is saturated. Every year of 100,000 graduates in Kenya. Wataenda wapi?
Okay.
Wale wengine I know people who have been jobless for the last 7 years, 8 years. Na alifanya degree amepata ati niko na low, second class lower, second class upper. So wende ukule hiyo hapa. Like seriously. Personally, I don't encourage people to go to university. I was in a radio station, the vernacular one, Somali. I said, boss, especially when we had the KCC, kaambia parents, listen to me. Mtoto akimaliza form 4 hivi, don't start with university. Take him to a technical course. 3 months, 4 months. Hata juve to graphic design, mobile website, mobile apps. This thing you learn even on YouTube. After that, hata hawezi kuuliza fees. Atakuwa kihustle, magigs hapo pale. Na hata university na waweka fanyaga distance learning. Because there's nothing to learn there.
Nimeamua kutake content to the next level. But now I have a news for you. Ukionaga wakale wakioshaga mtu wana disappear. Either waenda Australia ama mkale.
You're coming from university, you're at your first job, and all of a sudden, now is when you're discovering life is very hard without having a car. Now is when you're now discovering, and you're just 1 year from campus. All those years, life was just okay. Now is when you're discovering you cannot live life without a car. And now you're entering into high interest personal debt, or you're entering into traditional debt. You want now, with your first effort, the first output of your effort, you want to pay loans for 2-3 years. Right? And when I tell you that you should take that money and invest it and buy the future, you tell me that is Kiingereza mingi scroll. Go and watch people dancing. So the first job is to break free from prison. That's our first task. How do you break free from prison? You break free from prison. By investing your money significantly until you build a portfolio that can pay you your current expenses without lifting a finger. Now you're free. You see that now? Now, for instance, if today you earn about maybe you earn around 150,000, and of that 150, many Kenyans, by the way, you earn 150, you spend 200. But let me assume that you have killed that pedestrian consumption. Now you earn 150, and maybe you're spending 100. So we need to build a portfolio that can pay you 100,000 shillings. Do you know, in 3 to 4 years, with proper focus, you can build that portfolio that pays you 100,000 shillings per month. Now you see, now you're free. Now, once you are free, it's at that moment that now you begin your wealth journey. You cannot talk about the wealth journey when you're in prison. Are you hearing what I'm talking about? So there are two journeys. Your first journey is to break free from poverty, break free from prison first. Then once you're broken free from prison, now you're able to enter now into your wealth journey. But what will shock you is that what it took you 10 years to accomplish when you're in prison, when you're no longer in prison, it can take you 2 years. Because individuals who are financially independent access more opportunities, access their gifting, innovation, uniqueness. All four are your greatest catalyzers of net worth.
Of Singapore.
Yes.
First of all, if I just talk at face value and compare Singapore and Kenya, Jeff, the size of Singapore is 736 square kilometers.
Is that central province? Is that smaller than
the size of Nairobi?
Nairobi
is 696 square kilometers.
Wow.
Therefore, Singapore and Nairobi are almost congruent in size. The size of Kenya is 580,000 square kilometers. It means that Kenya is 800 times bigger than Singapore. Then the population of Kenya is 58 million in number, while the population of Singapore is 6.1 million in number. The GDP right now of Singapore is close to around 4.6% today. And the GDP of Kenya is approximately around between that 4 and 5%. Therefore, it means that how else will the 58 million Kenyans fit in Singapore, which is a smaller country in terms of size? Jeff, there is no need of the state, of the government, of the president talking about Singapore if we have a blueprint in Kenya. For 40 years when KANU was ruling this nation, by 2002, we had an economic growth rate. Actually, I'm talking about the economic growth rate, not the GDP. Of Singapore is 4.6 and of Kenya is around 5%. The economic growth rate of Kenya as at 2002 was at 2%. Then when Kibaki took over, the economic growth rate shot to 7%. Kibaki came up with a blueprint and called it the Vision 2030. We don't need to go to Singapore. I want us to focus here. The Vision 2030, having come up, the projection was that by the year 2012-2013, it ought to have had a 2-digit number, which was approximately 10%. And by the year 2030, it ought to have maintained that 10% and even more. With the blueprint that we have, we had 3 pillars. And we were to come up with proper infrastructure and proper hotel industry to attract tourism in our nation. Yep. We were to talk about manufacturing, that we invest more in manufacturing and the insurance industry. We were also supposed to talk about the micro, that is retail and wholesale, micro and small, medium enterprises. That is the Juakali sector, and were to be financed through cooperatives and SACCOs. The social sector. The social pillar was supposed to take care of education, providing quality and affordable education, if possible free, because there was free primary education. Then in addition to that, healthcare, primary healthcare, affordable and of great quality. We're talking about proper environment, sanitation, clean and sufficient supply of water. Simple things, Jeff. We were to talk about the reforms in the electoral process to give us proper leadership. Not what we have now. We were to talk about the management of the political parties so that we don't have the problems we are experiencing with my brother Ndindi Nyoro today.
Yeah.
Then, Jeff, before we implemented the 3 pillars, the economic, the political, and the social pillars, and they were simple. Number 1, the security of a state. That in the security, we were supposed to have proper police reforms. My brother and I will tell you today that we don't have a police service. We have a police force up to date. The defense was supposed to be, tourists will be scared of coming to invest here, because the other day at Thika Law Courts, you charge over 50 Gen Zs with terrorism charges. You call them terrorists. How can a tourist, how can an investor come to invest in this nation that is full of, in quotes, terrorists? Then we talk about the macroeconomic stability, where the prices of goods and services were supposed to be stable before we do any other thing. Inflation, stable. We talk about exchange rates, stable. For us to achieve the 3 economic pillars: infrastructure, energy. Energy, right now, electricity we produce close to around 3,800 megawatts. Yeah. Airports and ports. We were to talk about land reforms. Jeff, what can you do? Land is a factor of production in economics. A case was sold to a person X, was given to the former President Moi. Then former President Moi sold it to a person X. A person X sold it to Dina Mane, and it was resolved in an easy way. The insurable principle. They came out clearly. We needed to solve such issues. We needed to talk about what my brother has talked about, the human capital development, matter skills. We train our people in matter skills so that we can have better masons. We can have better plumbers to achieve this. But Jeff, we ran out bottom up. We ran away from the blueprint, we said bottom up. That bottom up promised a Mama Mboga to graduate from a kiosk into owning a supermarket. Done yet, still in abeyance, suspended. Right now, we are talking about going to Singapore. We cannot go to Singapore when a common man is hungry. Jeff, a man, a woman toils, moils, wakes up very early in the morning. A dad selling Mama Mboga, some selling changa like my mother. Jeff, if you see women in a construction site carrying stones and shovel, working tireless next month so that they can get school fee for their children, so that they can get affordable education for their children. Jeff, what has happened with us? Where is the morality? Singapore, with hungries, we will not take them. They will go by them.
Computer.
Calculator.
Open your calculator. This presidential, for example. So 30 million people have registered to be voters. So let's say you only need half of them. You said, must know you, must feel you, must know you by face, and you have to reach out to them. So you've decided to print 15 million t-shirts.
That is, I'm seeing 4 billion.
Yes. That's t-shirts alone. Mama, you've not done... That's t-shirt. Haujatafuta agents across the country.
So mkina Morara hawezi nunua hata t-shirt.
Hata ngoda. Now let me give you another math. So your team, presidential team, you have to have 3 teams. Okay? 3 teams that are on the road.
With the chairman in parliament dealing with debt. The revenue side also, there is a committee called for restriction. Because I can see that we don't come here to see who wins the debate. From my perspective, we come here to see how we can lay a good basis for our economy. Any part we can play, whether position.
Stop posting all your
life on social media and post only what is important, maybe a business, maybe things which are adding value, then you have started becoming all the way things didn't work about him and where he was, right? And he keeps grinding until these things work. You start working hard until they work. Then you've stopped being a boy. Number 3, a boy becomes a man when the things he does that you tell people, hey guys, I'm working on this, I'm working on that, I'm working on this, I'm building this, I'm doing this. Let people get to see what you've done. But if you are explaining yourself so much, what are you looking for? Justification. All right? And if you're looking for justification, you're still a boy. Fix up your life. Let your things be seen and let people say, oh, this is by fear. And does exactly what just is necessary. You see, people are bound by fear. Fear is an illusion. And boys, they're always afraid. But real men, they go for whatever they want. They focus on it. They work on it. And they know that they can achieve anything because they are who they are. So when you stop being bound by fear and you go and face Number 5, waiters, for example, then he has started becoming a man. Look at him and you say, demean their self-esteem. You're still a boy. You need to fix that. And once you fix this, then you've started growing. The other thing is, when he stops being a slave to his sexual urges, all right? These are some of the things that make a man become a man. A man is not driven by desires, bodily desires. No, he's driven by vision. Number 7, when he starts taking responsibility for his own actions. You go and see your children out there. Be responsible by your own self. Know that anything you do, whether good or bad, then you've started becoming a man. You're changing from a boy to a man. And the final thing is, when he starts focusing on improving himself, all right?